All right, welcome back, welcome back. We didn't keep you guys waiting for long, and rightfully so, because the London Royal Ravens are going to be back on that main screen, and I can't wait. So far this year, they've been taking the league by storm. One of the undefeated teams, and one of the most impressive that we've seen so far.
Absolutely. I mean, when it comes to the game fuel keys to victory, make the game easier for yourself, London. You're already having such a hot start. Their first in break percentage, still in last in rotation win percentage. But you know what? If it ain't broke, don't fix it, because they have been cracked out when it comes to hardpoint thus far. And when the Battle of Berlin hardpoint tightens, both teams are 2-0 during the regular season, meaning that both of these teams have yet to fall when it comes to Berlin hardpoint. We'll see later on if that's in the map series layout. And of course, Limit seems placemaking in control. He has a 1.23 KD this season. We've seen what he's able to do once he's on a roll.
You're right, and while London are going to be busy trying to keep aBeZy in the trash can any way that they can try to make that happen, because it's going to be hard to stop them, what do the LA Guerrillas have to do, man?
Well, I mean, there's a couple things they're going to have to do. Well, their hardpoint has been fantastic thus far, 4-1 in that game mode, so they can really go toe-to-toe with the Royal Ravens when it comes to that mode. And then also gunless. This guy's been sitting at, what, a 1.19 KD overall on hardpoint, so he's been frying in that mode, so I'm expecting him to keep that going. And then for the game fuel keys to victory for the Los Angeles Guerrillas, first blood success will determine rounds in search and destroy. London is first in first blood win percentage, last in 3v4 win percentage. So if you get that first blood, you're going to put them in a very tough spot. Hardpoint setups have to be better. They're playing great in hardpoint, but they're going up against a London team that is breaking 42% of hills. They're first in that regard. And we saw that stat yesterday. They lost 9 out of 9 rotations. And as for the last key, figure out the S&D defensive woes, last in defensive round win percentage, and 2 for 8 in neutral retake situations. So yeah, figure out search and destroy. That's the one game mode where they've looked lackluster in, but in their last match, they seem to have picked it up and played a little bit better.
So this match is going to be kind of tricky. Yes, you're going to have a sub that's really talented stepping in for Toronto, but on the flip side, LAG, they're looking to be so much better this time around. When it comes to predictions, though, nameless, who you rocking with? The LA boys, or you going with Toronto?
Oh, well, I'm going to go with London in this series.
I mean,
yeah.
London.
I'm going to go with London. I think they're going to take it in a 3-1 fashion. I just love what I've seen out of them. They've been playing super consistent, and I expect Gizmo to pop off once again.
Right, aLLeY, do you have London or LA?
I definitely have London, but I will give LA props, as I think they'll keep the hardpoint games close.
Yes, me as well. I'm going to rock with London. They're just looking so good right now, and there's no reason why anybody should doubt them. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about time to get this thing started, and none other than Lando and Standy are going to be there to take it away. Fellas, how are you feeling today, and how excited are you for this matchup?
Oh, Valley, we are absolutely stoked. This is going to be a great series. I mean, like I said, teams like the London Royal Ravens are being misconstrued to be the Toronto Ultra. This is a great side for the CDL. But I tell you what, Jay, we're feeling good. It's Super Bowl Sunday. We got some great matches, but I'll toss it to you. How you feeling, brother?
I'm excited, man. Like you said, Super Bowl Sunday. Can't wait to go watch that later. But we got to focus on what's in our face right now. This intense match between both of these great teams. Obviously, the Ravens, ever since the kickoff, they've just been dominating, man. 3-0, looking real fluent. Already basically secured their winners bracket for that Major I. So they're looking to just continue to get better in their hardpoint specifically, man. Like, they're number 1 in break and when they're trying to break into hardpoints, but you got to focus on your rotation. So going forward, just keep on practicing on that. And then the opposite side for LAG, they're sitting at 1 and 2 so far in stage 1, but they still have a chance to make the winners bracket. And it all starts with this match right here, because next week, pretty sure they have a matchup against Minnesota. But this is a tough one, man. They haven't really had a lot of success in 2 game modes. Their best mode is going to be hardpoint, search and destroy, and control. They have to try to find an answer.
Yeah, without a doubt, my friend. Let's go and take a look at the maps and modes for this series. Our first one of the 2 that we've got going down on this lovely CDL Sunday. It's Kavutu Hardpoint to start, followed up by Berlin Search Destroy, Kavutu Control, Berlin Hardpoint. And if it does go the distance, we will be seeing some Bocage Search and Destroy. Now, partner, I know you mentioned it. You were talking about it with me in the veto process. Break it down. What did LAG do based off what you see in the map bands here?
Yeah, so when you take a look at these maps, you're probably thinking, oh, London did a great job, man. Like, they're going to catch some soft guards. There's certain maps that you see LAG haven't even played. They haven't touched the Kavutu hardpoint or even that Bocage Search and Destroy. Even for the Kavutu Control, they only played it once and went all the way to a round 5 versus Boston Breach, where they ended up dropping. But what I really liked out of LAG is that when off the rip, Team A was going to be London. They came out and they just got rid of Bokaj. They're 0-2 on that. They do not want to play it. But instead of London, you know, getting rid of Gavutu, which has been of LAG getting rid of Gavutu, they come out and they get rid of Tuscan. And I love that heads up play, because if you're going up against a team like London, they're #1 in breaking into certain hard points. On a map like Gavutu, where you're going to force that rotation to be huge, it also allows your teammates to set up with those long range gunfights, pick them up a little bit easier, not allow them to get into certain points. But then also, this is where it kind of scares me, because we're talking about LAG, and with aSim and Hook on the same team, they have 2 Gavutus. Basically, aSim is going to be a third AR this entire series.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair to say there's a lot of pressure on aSim's shoulders to really try and take down, to do something that really nobody's had a lot of success in doing, shut down the Ravens in a series. As at least off the rip, it's going to make it a little bit easier. Afro taking them down, most likely in one of those pesky barrels. But like I said, Jay, a lot of numbers, a lot of stats to throw at the folks. But as we said, LAG coming through, throwing a little bit of a curveball out there, and we'll see if it can work out for them. 16-2 so far here at our opening hard point.
And so with only 25 seconds left on this P1, you have to start thinking about the rotation. But this has been a great start from LAG. They're finding kill after kill in the feed. Number 6, which is going to be Gunless, does find that 2-piece to get himself set up for that P2 hard point. You're London, you can't give up all this P1 time, so they're still going to commit towards pushing this, get this remaining 10, and now potentially set up that pinch.
And we saw it there for a moment. One guy that you're looking out for, especially if you are on the LAG side of things, Jay, what is going to be that player on your screen right now? Number 3, take a look at him on the mini map. He's going to be making the plays constantly here on this opening Gavutu hardpoint. I mean, what, Jay? The guy leads in like pretty much every statistical category. It feels like #1 in overall KD so far throughout our Major I qualifiers. He sits incredibly high in hardpoint, incredibly high in control, and he's also sitting in like the top 6 in search and destroy. Gizmo has been one of the best players in the CDL, and LAG are going to have to do their darndest to try and shut him down.
100%. One of the best players, one of the best interviewers. I love every time he gets on that camera because he's so himself. But into this game, LAG, they have been dominating this P1 to P2 rotation. 67-6, only 20 seconds remaining for this P2 hardpoint. They should be able to get this remaining time. aBeZy, we were worried about him stepping up with the AR in his hands. Already on a 6-3, one off getting that glide bomb.
And this could be huge, right? All things considered, Ravens right now have got the spawns for Beach, which can be a money hill on this map. And really, for the most part, it feels like every hill on Gavutu could be a money hill. But especially on this bad boy, it's a wide open space. And seeing the teammates look to play around each other, you can see they're trying to play for the streak. On that 6 in a row, Hook and Gunless, they're able to find the 2, and with that, that will be the glide bomb earned, but he may not have to even utilize it. They'll break on in, instantly pushing out P1, but we'll see if they're conscious of it. The Ravens still spawning over toward green. aSim about to make it, potentially 8 in a row as Gizmo and Nasty, Afro, the entire crew shutting down players just like that. The Ravens break on in back toward the hard point, still 30 seconds left.
And then with 25, you're not even too mad about it if you're LAG, because now it's going to be able to set you guys up for that P4. If you can keep these guys off this time as well, that'd be the cherry on top. But that's going to be the Ravens who find 3. Now they're able to push up through ring, down by 60 points currently, but you have to keep in mind aSim still does have those streaks to work with. You just cannot allow the Ravens to contest this from the front. You want to continue to slay the way that the Guerrillas have been slaying so far in this game.
And I mean, what, Jay? It looks like LAG have come out with a solid game plan so far. I mean, you and I talked about how it was an interesting call for the Guerrillas, but it appears that this has been the strategy coming into this map. It's no surprise, right? The percentages, the things that we've talked about with this Ravens roster is their breaking potential as Gizmo looks to try and put that to full force. He's able to take down 2 before dropping. LAG still with close spawns as they will reach that century mark. Ravens doing their best to try to fight through here from the front, and let's see exactly how those comms are sounding right now. Already in the big game are LAG, so let's go to a listen now with the Guerrillas.
There's 2, another one on time. Back left, challenge.
Afro weak.
All good.
We're gonna flip.
Get out if we can.
Nice. We'll give you both. I spawn 30 seconds here.
I spawn ring as well. I'm wrapping back. I'm wrapping back. Yo, top as well. 0.
0 1 shot on you, Austin. 0 1 shot on you.
Where's the top boat?
Absolute,
one shot.
That's the only one.
Top for both.
Yeah, they're gonna cross the P5.
Top 3 guys.
Make
sure we're calling out where they are on boat.
Top green weak.
Top 3 dead. I got another top green.
Nade time.
Okay. What a pinch this. One guy's
We
gonna
got
be
top
spawning top
boat.
foot.
I didn't hit him on top of
He's weak on
the
time.
Here, try to work this quick.
He's on the spot, nasty, on the spot, nasty.
He's stunned.
Yo, another one, top 3, top 3.
Nasty, weak.
Go get this top 3, get this top 3.
Top 3 dead.
Shit
Got him.
Nice,
Got him.
get my time, get my time. Yo, one's going mid top lane.
Did
you
Yeah, I got it.
I killed Trey. I killed one of them.
Mid stairs, Afro weak, top ring.
Is he hitting it?
I don't know.
He went down their side. One down their side. One down their
Just
side.
showing on time.
One bullet up.
One bottom bow, one top
up middle. One bullet up middle.
Two top bow, Kyle.
Every top bow. Every top bow right now.
I got right now.
Don't shoot yet. I have a gun.
Play I died.
Go on. Another one. Got me. Front green. Got me.
Nice. One more.
Green,
I'm
front
helping
green,
you. I'm helping you.
Play old. It's 18 seconds, guys.
I have glide.
Afro's
Yeah, we have a glide for now. We have a glide for now.
Top boat.
Afro was in green. Afro was in green, and one's literally over by
don't see top
tree
boat.
tank. Tree tank.
Gives him a one-shot oil.
I got nasty. One is on new. One is on new.
Watch
Nice.
that.
I have a
Right
glide.
now.
Go mid-stairs. Go mid-stairs, guys.
Don't see
Go
the
double mid-stairs.
one is there. One is there heady. One
Someone
is
get
there
the
heady.
pierce so I can glide.
I'm waiting.
Guys,
I'm gonna glide now.
they're mid sub.
Weak to an
They're
eight,
mid sub.
weak to an
They're
eight.
mid sub.
Listen, there's a guy.
Well, as the first set of rotations come to a close, it's LAG with a pretty substantial lead right now. Based off those comms, Jay, you can just tell LAG, they have got a plan of attack. They are ready for this game. You see Hook hyping up the teammates, and what, it was gunless the majority of the time, calling out everything other than what's actually on his screen. He was letting everybody know where all 4 of those Ravens were at.
Yeah, when you think about this roster, just from veteran experience, I was thinking that Slasher was going to be their vocal leader, but Gunless really stepping up. He even gave a call out where he was like, hey, if you're going to call the guy out top shit, make sure you let me know exactly where he is so I can go out there and pick up that kill. But just the focus from Gunless to go out there and contest that P5 hardpoint, knowing that they had those streaks in the back pocket, they were able to contest a good chunk of time off of this P1. Now with only 15 seconds left, this is where these rotation gunfights go in huge. But Hook on a 5 spree, trying to stay alive, do everything he can from this P1 hardpoint, potentially trying to pick up kill streaks of his own.
That's one of the best signs, partner, right? LAG, they're not just off of the rotation. They're going to beat the Ravens once more toward boat. But at the same time, it's your typical SMG players, granted now with the automatons out, but earning some streaks, right? We saw aBeZy do it earlier. Now it's Hook's turn as he sits at 18 and 13, a major cut that he's going to have to try to watch. A few comms may allow for the Ravens to break on through, and that will look to be successful. They do win the trades off of Afro's double headshots. But Hook 1 kill away there to try to earn that glide bomb. Strafe not currently in play. He gets taken down. A major fight for the Ravens to take as now they get a chance to try to bring this game back.
So now the Ravens only being down 20 points. 20 seconds remaining on this P2 hardpoint. They're already thinking about the next. Number 1, which is going to be 0, already top ring. Just not allowing any LAG players to try to hit the full rotation. But trades going back and forth. Afro able to find 2 in towards the bottom of the hard point. But that's great work once again coming in for the Ravens. This is going to be the first hard point that they're actually going to be able to have spawns for. As soon as this hills pops, they just have to be able to shut down this push from the back.
I want to take a look at player 7. Player 7 and aBeZy, he may have snuck his way through. You can tell Afro not conscious of it, but who's going to spot the other one first? It looks like as if it could be Afro. Has the initial shots that are onto Slasher. He quickly turns around, takes down aBeZy, but with the plays that LAG are making, it's not just one player coming through the backside of jungle. In fact, it was 2. A great coordinated push as now it's all onto aBeZy. A 1v2 inside of the hill. Both players sitting on either side. Right now with the take, Nasty absorbing the bullets. Around the corner he comes with the pistol, but Nasty's there to shut him down. Solid plays from the Ravens. Again, they were down by a decent amount after those first set of rotations, but they have fought back. Now they find themselves in the driver's seat. And based off the look, or rather where those arrows are going to be, Zero and Afro not only just playing toward beach, but they decide to go for the early rotation. This could be huge right now for London.
And this is exactly what London needed to work on when it comes to their hard point. It's just being at the rotation early enough to where you can at least have the spawns. But when you die of rotation, that is the worst case scenario. So now LAG, they are going to be in the back. Zero trying to play his life in towards his top building, but all of his teammates are dropping. All of his teammates are dropping. Zero cannot make a play here, but him staying alive is going to force the spawn in the back. Now the Ravens have a potential break coming in.
How about the vet? The vet literally waited there for a solid 25 to 30 seconds. You could call it squad spawns, but it's the way the game works, baby. Stays alive, and literally the definition of the vet making the sacrifice there, or the 3-headed beast of the Ravens as they'll walk away with 3 to start. Close spawns over at Cliff. Our LAG, who gets taken down. We say goodbye to aBeZy as well. And with 20 seconds, maybe some desperation coming in from Gunless as he'll have to do everything possible to try and limit the seconds right now from London. A great mid-map kill right there from player number 2. That's going to be nasty. He'll transition over at P1. He drops. Slasher doing a great job at taking down the Ravens from this spawn. But taking a look at that next rotation, LAG have got it. spread and prepared over at Docs. A full 60 is not going to just be needed. It's going to be necessary at this point.
You see what LAG are trying to do. They're just trying to trap him in towards back P4. You have players pushed up towards top boat. One player watching the overextension. That player on hill is going to be uncontested. But now London able to at least get 1 kill, able to find 2 as well onto aBeZy. Are now able to get some map control. The trade is going to be here. Now they're able to have ship control. So can he win these gunfights? And now, because the spawns are still coming in from Guerrillas back green.
Huge hill right now for LAG. We talk about just in terms of this game, but really from the outlook of this series, you could call it a must win right now from LAG, and they're doing everything in their power to try to stay down, watch over each other, get those cuts, and make sure the communication is on point. And so far it is. LAG look to take the lead off of this hill, but it's all going to be based off the rotation. aBeZy doing his best to try to lead the way. It's currently going to be LAG with a slim advantage, but it's Gizmo lingering inside of the middle of the map. It's great plays overall from the Ravens as they look to try to rebound themselves. Back and forth we go, but it's London locking down the time right now at P1. Some great players established to the middle side of the map. Now it's going to be up to the Guerrillas to try and retake this.
And LAG, they're just attacking both sets of staircases. As aBeZy does find 2, Slasher finds 1. So now it's going to be a 1v1 on this point. Gizmo has to try to go big. There's a huge one-on-one. He's able to win it. So now Ravens have control, 240 and counting. You just have to stay alive to allow your teammates to eventually get back in this play.
How about the plays from the Røkkr? Both teams can win in here. Now it's Nasty's turn. He takes one out toward the outskirts, but it's LAG still walking away with the time. The Ravens have got to at least try and contest this. Zero's able to take down 1 onto aBeZy, but it's Slasher who takes down 2 of his own. It's all on Nasty. He gets taken down with the pistol. 242 to 238. Now it's Afro. The constant trades, but they will still work out at the side of LAG. But the Ravens, they contest for just long enough. The Ravens contest, and now they're going to be off the rotation. A current 3 versus 1. LAG with numbers now only a few seconds away. The Ravens have got to break on in. The Ravens will break. The Ravens will break for a moment, but they will not be able to stand tall enough. And the Guerrillas, plan executed, making the comeback off of what was another excellent hardpoint from London. The plan executed, and LAG will walk away with the opening of Utu.
The game plan was beautiful, man. Just gotta tip it, especially to the coaching staff on that side, man. Bevels and Ricky doing a great job of just knowing the Ravens, how they want to play, how they want to execute. And for LAG, with a team full of veterans, they know we've been rotating for a really long time in hardpoint. We just have to make sure we do it consistently here and win those gunfights. One player that really stepped up had to be aBeZy. This is a guy who's usually running that submachine gun in his hand, but 27 and 19 untraded kills. Picking up those early kill streaks into that map is what allowed them to build such a lead. When eventually you saw the Ravens, they were starting to fight back, but with a great P4 hold and in a great rotation towards that P5 Slasher, he also went big, man, like 3-piece with the pistol running around in circles. He was going so deep to not allow the Ravens to win off that P1 hard point. He allowed his teammates to set up off the rotation. They do that, and they were able to close it out. Great game plan, great execution coming in from the Guerrillas.
Yeah, excellent stuff out of LAG. Let's relive a few of those moments once more. Again, one of the better hard points that we have seen this weekend. One of the better hard points that we've seen so far throughout here in Vanguard. But the last few plays, Jay, walk us through it, man. LAG, how did they come away with this?
So it all started off with Gizmo. Like, he won the huge one-on-one versus Slasher, but when he drops the hook, you saw that a couple players from LAG, they were just a little closer. But Slasher, he's able to find 2 right here, and then eventually finds a 3rd. Once he does that, it's a 2v1 in the point. If you're Afro, your main job is to try to contest this as long as you can, because there's not that much time left, but Slasher still stays alive. He finds the 4th kill, and with only 7 seconds left, now this is where you have to start thinking about the rotations. London, they were able to rotate a couple of times, and when you're dying off the rotation, that is what's really going to cost you. Slasher was able to find 1 off the old hill, and aBeZy finds another in towards the ship. Now it leaves Zero all by himself in this situation. Once he drops, they know that the spawns are coming in from green. They have the numbers advantage. All you have to do is pick up the kills, and you should be able to close it out. Like I said, man, it was just well-executed game plan coming in from the Guerrillas to take that map number 1.
Wild stuff from LAG. And a team, Jay, where we talk about it, this is a huge series for this roster. They lose this particular matchup here versus the London Royal Ravens today, they guaranteed will have a losing record coming in to our very first major. So big stuff coming out of the gates from the Guerrillas. And what stuff we talked about coming into this series, you know, in terms of Major 1, at least 3 maps that this team has yet to play the regular season. And fair to say, a pretty solid start in Gavutu for the very first time.
Definitely a great start, especially from aBeZy. If he comes out and he's able to slay like that with the AR, if I'm LAG, I'm like, we're playing Gavutu every single series. What have we been doing? But now they're going into a search and destroy on Berlin. We got to watch the Ravens play this yesterday versus Minnesota, and they actually won it in a dominant fashion. Their main attack, their main offensive attack is always just flooding that A site, and that catches a lot of players off guard on the defensive side because you're always putting players to watch that B cross, to watch the middle of the map. So you're not going to always have a majority of the numbers in that advantage every time. So if you're LAG, we know what they can do. I feel like this map relies heavily on how aBeZy plays. When they got 3-0'd by Toronto, he went 2-8 in search and destroy. It's basically a 0.2. Not good. But the last time he was on this map, I'm pretty sure he had like 11 to 12 kills. Just single-handedly was shutting down that B site. So just continue that momentum that you have from the first map going into this map number 2.
Yeah, without a doubt, my friend. And obviously, we're looking at a number of different players. aBeZy to be one of those from LAG, but two guys that we're absolutely looking up for as well coming into this next Berlin are going to be the flex players, right? Gunless versus Gizmo. Both of these guys having a fantastic season up to this point. Obviously, you can see the numbers so far throughout Search and Destroy. A 1.2 for Gunless, a 1.52 on the other side from Joey Owen, aka Jay Giz. I mean, what, man? It feels like this has been an excellent series for both of these guys, and it just continues to be the story of Vanguard, right, Jay? The flexes, not just in hardpoint, not just in control, but in Search and Destroy. It just seems to be that those are the playmakers, and so far for both of these teams, that flex roll has been living up to the hype.
100%, man. When you're talking about the flex roll, like I say every time, if you're that flex player, you're running the best gun on every single map. And both of these guys have been superstars for their rosters. Gunless is able to do it in every single mode. He's the only player over 1.0 in every single mode. He has tremendous clutch ability when it comes to the search and destroy. And then even on the opposite side for Gizmo, 1.5, like that's absurd, man. That they've been dominating a lot of these search and destroys. Just needing him to have that same impact here and try to shut down Gunless.
And, you know, it's fair to say, too, right? LAG, they come into that opening hard point. You know, we're discussing it, saying, hey, kind of an odd plan to play Gavutu. We talk about how they have the Tuscan option if they want, but they want to play Gavutu and for the right reasons. Clearly, they have worked on things. But how do you feel about this LAG team now coming into Search and Destroy? Just in general, right? They've got one victory in S&D. They are 1-4, I believe, right now on the season, or 1-3 on the season in terms of stage 1. Not great right now, but how do you look at this team to make the adjustments? I know you called out aBeZy specifically, but what do you want to see this team do, given the stats, given the figures, differently here on Berlin?
I just need to see quick reactions. Like when someone is on the map, especially if you're the item player, the guy that's using the sniper, if you are giving the information to your teams, just be quick on the adjustments. And also, if you're LAG, you need to win defenses. You need to come out. Right there, they are 33% at winning defenses, which is dead last compared to London, who are #1 in the defensive setup, 67%. You cannot win search and destroys if you're not winning your defenses, but good for LAG. They're starting off on the offensive attack.
They will indeed. We'll see what they can do. Shout out to the stats team. Shout out to Carson. Absolutely killing it when it comes down to the stats. You've got some amazing figures to work off of, and it also helps the teams maybe figure out exactly where they are falling short. But as we'll look through the eyes of aBeZy, tossing out some utility, they're over toward Plat. On the opening attack are the Guerrillas, but it's not just going to be some attention over at A. It appears that Gunless is trying to find some info, throws the nade, takes down Nasty, and now it's time for the bomb to go from A over to B.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Nasty was super aggressive towards lower dockside, but when Gunless was able to spot him, hit him a couple shots, he finished that kill off with the nade. So the rotation comes in, 4v3 bomb plant, Zero, trying to be super aggressive, potentially able to get this player off the site. He does find him, now makes it a 3v3.
We all remember that one play where Zero wasn't able to take down, I think it was a member of OpTic, off of that plant in their series they had previously versus Texas, but plays the aggression. Nice work coming in from Zero. Also Afro shutting down Gunless. These mid-round kills, excellent so far for the Ravens as they look to add on to it that much more. Slasher coming in, shuts down Zero. It's now into the 2 versus 2 with 16 seconds left. The Ravens have got to make a play. The Ravens have to hop on this. Gizmo, realizing such, looks to try to clear out the docks, but he's got no one in his sights. He's got no one to look out for. Afro, final player up. He gets dropped as well. LAG off of that bomb rotation. The early kill from Gunless sets things up, and they've got themselves the first round.
And that's a great route from LAG. Slow and methodical. When you usually start into a search and destroy, it's all about spread map. Let's see how they want to go on their very first round, see how aggressive they're going to play, what kind of game plan they're going to hit us with. But when you open up with that first blood, already they have the man advantage. And when it comes down to the 2v2, you saw that Afro the entire time. He was trying to find Røkkr in the back of the warehouse, but Røkkr, great heads up play to just hit that rotation into his bottom library, get a little bit closer to your teammate and that bomb. So nothing crazy kind of happens. LAG were able to close it out.
Solid start from Guerrillas once more. And it's now actually going to be on the Ravens.
Bad start.
Try to change things up. A little bit of a missed stun. It's all good, Afro. It's all good. It's off the sandbag, so he'll be somewhat dazed for a moment. And that actually could slow down the push overall from Ravens. I mean, if he gets some information over at the docks, maybe things change a little bit, but Nasty picking up from the faults of Afro as the Ravens will be able to claim first blood this time for them. And it could be a similar situation again, Jay, to what we saw in the last round in A to B last time. Now it could be the Ravens making the site rotation over at A. Only player is going to be here is Røkkr, and he gets cut down as well.
Yeah, that's tough if you're Røkkr because all 4 players are just flooding at you. If you were able to get one, that's the best case scenario. But fortunately, he drops now in a 4v2 situation. You do have Gunless and aBeZy working their way through middle broken. Trying to set up this potential flank, making sure they're checking every single angle. But with aBeZy is clearing this all out, he's going to get the information in. They're definitely pushed out towards the back alley. Shots coming in onto Gizmo. He's able to take down the first. 23 seconds left, still in a 2v3.
Afro takes down Gunless. It's all going to be on to aBeZy. A 1v2 and not a whole lot of time to work with. Got a lot of areas to check in. Over at the office, a great shot there on to Afro, and he'll actually look to try and maybe escape with his life. Knows that the round by no means is going to go his way, and can he pick off Nasty? We're talking about streaks maybe for the future. Does not challenge the right angle, but still sitting on a 3 spree. An excellent attempt there out of aBeZy, but it will be attack once more, seeing some success this time from London. Now we've got ourselves a 1-1.
Yeah, once they opened up with that first blood, once again, Nasty was able to find Slasher in towards the bottom middle. Then they all just say, hey, let's team push over towards that A site. Let's win these trades. And once they find down Røkkr, no one drops 4v2. You get the bomb planted. You should be able to walk away with the round. But if you're aBeZy, that's one hell of a confidence builder. Just find 3, potentially pick up some streaks later into this game.
And aBeZy already off to a great start. I mean, he was the guy in Search Destroy who you said needs to step up. And based off of KD, not a great performance yet. And how about the plays that could be inbound for the Guerrillas? Slasher sees somebody run right into his sights. Gunless, meanwhile, is able to drop Gizmo to start things off. So a lot of noise being made over at B, specifically at P2 or Library. And Afro, given the positioning, well, let's try to take advantage of it. Nice long-range shots. Takes down Gunless. So the Ravens are at least able to bring things not to a 3 versus 3, but all that noise made it be, when in reality, it was the Guerrillas at the other site the whole time. Now up to the London boys to try and retake this.
It's looking like they're going to try to attack this from plat side. So all 3 players are going to be pushed up here, but time is starting to dwindle. They're checking every single corner, but the way that LG is set up, you have the first player, which is the line of defense, which is going to be aBeZy, but the safety net and Røkkr. Able to spot a player on bomb. Afro does find a kill, and this is where it can get scary because they know the position of Røkkr. Røkkr does take down one. He's still on the fuse. He's still on it. He doesn't peek it. And what a great play coming in from London to go out and get that first kill, but then to force Røkkr to pick up that kill towards the left side and basically body stack on the bomb, knowing that that round was going to be impossible to win if that wasn't the play call. Great heads up play from London to make such a great play on the fly.
Yeah, and you could tell, like, Røkkr is trying to balance so many things. He's got somebody running at him over at the train station. And you could tell he had at least an idea that he wanted to try to take down the player on the bomb. But, again, he's looking for visuals. He's looking for information. And with that body stack, it makes things that much more difficult. Great work once more out of the Ravens. Veteran-like plays out of Nasty and Zero there in that 2 VX situation, but already off the rip. It's not just going to be Afro, it's going to be Gizmo as well, trying to lead the charge here through the street. aBeZy will overall walk away with the advantage. Zero sends the young guns forward, but now it's all going to be on to him.
They walked right into the setup of LAG. Such a great blind counter from them to send multiple players towards that B site. And if you are the Ravens, we saw that they were able to do that same exact push on the defensive side the round previous. Like, they were super aggressive on this B site. But once they were able to get that positioning, if Afro was able to find that first kill onto Gunless, it's probably a totally different round. When Gunless finds that kill, that allows the player on docks to turn towards the middle of the map, find an easy 2. And then in a 1v3 situation, you got a better chance of pulling a rabbit out of a hat, especially when you're playing against some of these players that are on the LAG side.
Yeah, that's without a doubt. So far, Gizmo not off to a great start in this search destroy. Sits right now at 0-4. It's been LAG who's been coming for donuts, but I don't know. Maybe Gizmo's a little hungry this morning. Maybe skip breakfast. Can't do that. It's important. First match of the day. Got to be eating your breakfast. Got to be ready to go when it comes down to match time. aBeZy, free bomb. Look to try and plant this one down. Got a little bit worried there from the nade, but that plant will be successful. Hook trying to make sure that that warehouse is going to be clear as the Ravens sit firmly right now inside a library. They've done their reading and now they're ready to come outside and do what they can. Great work from Slasher and Hook to combine for 2. They overall will win the trades, but now it's Gizmo's turn. Walking away with one of the only kills he's got so far, but Slasher is able to take down Giz. It's all on to 0 once more in a clutching situation. Now brings it to a 1v1. Slasher, as the stun comes in, he backs away. He's got the challenge over at the bomb site. Zero thought he was going to be in the doorway, thought he was going to be at the window, and Zero will not be able to get to that defuse in time. Good work from LAG to hide on out. Veteran-like plays as well from the Litigo.
The game plan is just on point right now for LAG. Like right there, they were just committed towards that B bomb. aBeZy, he was able to get away from those nades. Once he dodges those nades completely, once you get that bomb planted, they already had it set up. They had Slasher was watching the total late flank. He was able to find the first kill, and then Hook finds the second. And at that point, on the retake, you're already down in man advantage. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. LAG, they just are getting the job done with their play calling, mid-game adjustments. So far, this has been a great search and destroy from them.
Yeah, it really has. Great stuff so far from the Guerrillas. As London pushing forward over into A. Hook off the gates, takes down 2. And how about the plays from now this guy? Kyler Garland up in the face of the opposition. 0 gets dropped as well. Nasty, at the very least, takes down 1, but he's got the bomb on his back and 3 more players still to try to take on down. Guerrillas are hungry as now they will claim their 4th round. As you said, Jay, this team just seems to have a plan, and you see the little smirk there from Hook going, and he made the biggest difference there in that round.
And we were worried about the defenses, like 33% of winning defenses going up against the team that's #1 in their defensive round wins. So far, LAG, the game plan, everything is clicking right now. Such a great setup from them to go up 4-2 into this game. You can just tell the confidence is on the side of LAG. If they take this map, it gets really scary on the side of London. You really need Gizmo to step up, currently on a breadstick.
And once more from LAG. They've done this before, the 2-2 split. Make some noise today. We'll see what aBeZy elects to do. He's going to work based off the information that not only Hook, but Slasher look to try and gain. Hook can establish just a few shots toward Afro, and that may have to be them backing on up. Oof. And Hook will not even have the opportunity. His body gets sent flying. Meanwhile, it's aBeZy inside of the doorway. He's trying to take down the door. Meanwhile, it's Nasty who gets the best of him. Awkward situations going on either side of the map. We've been giving a lot of props to LAG, but this time around, it is the Ravens working off of that game plan. 2 missed opportunities there for the Guerrillas, and that's the time for the Ravens to strike on back.
Yeah, right there, LAG. They just try to set up a 2-2 split right there. When Slash and Hook got taken down at that left side at a bomb, you saw aBeZy. He was just trying to go planet B. Let's break the doors. Let's put. We are not going to be in the man advantage. Let's just try to clutch this up. But unfortunately, does not check his corner. He gets taken down, and London, they're able to respond, keep their lives in this game. Currently down 4-3. Now going into the offensive round. If you're London, I want to see their all-out A push. That's where we saw a lot of their success yesterday versus Minnesota. So far, they haven't really shown it here.
Great work from the observers as well to see where those nades land. Slasher cutting down 0 for the first blood. And aBeZy quite comfortable right now inside of the docks as he looks to strike. And a great job at doing so. The bomb now down inside of the docks. And aBeZy also gets some information on where Afro is hiding. He gives the word over to Gunless. And we say goodnight once more to Afro. All on to Gizmo. A 1 versus 4. LAG, how about the spot that they find themselves in? As you said, Jay, it just looks like they've come out with a different game plan today. They have prepared. And the Ravens are receiving the repercussions of what a veteran team looks to do when they've got some information, as LAG now grab their 5th round and sit on map point.
Yeah, LAG, they just got something to prove in this series, man. They're trying to get that winner's bracket for Major I. The fact that they've shown this much improvement, they're a great hardpoint team, but the fact that they're showing this much improvement in their search and destroy game, it's beautiful, man. Teamwork is on point, crossfires are on point, and even the mid-rounds adjustments are so quick. It's working out beautifully. Now at game point, back on the offensive attack. You see the way that London are going to attack this. They're going to have 3 players pushing up towards this B site. It might be a complete blind counter on the side of London.
We'll see what they look to do. Ravens want to go all out aggressive, and Hook will have to get met with some early shots there from Gizmo. Meanwhile, Afro, it's his turn to try and go off as he'll take down 2. It's all up to Slasher instantly in a 1v3. Ravens frustrated, and they will take out their aggression this time over at the street side. Slasher, a smart guy. Of course, he'll be inside of the library, but with the numbers, with the time sitting the way it is, he's got few things to work off of, but Zero showing the glint for a moment. It's the team support coming through from London overall that take him down. The Ravens still alive.
Just a great blind counter. They tried to do it in one of their previous defensive rounds, but that was the round that LAG sent everyone towards that A bomb. So it didn't really work out the way they wanted it to. So got to go back to what was working before. They go and commit to that. They send 3 players up towards that site. They win a majority of those trades. Afro finds 2. Then in a 1v3 for Slasher, it's not going to be an easy task to get done. London are staying alive into this game, and we called it out early on their offense. We would like to see this A push come in, and right here, this is the commitment.
Yeah, I know you liked a lot of what you saw from the Ravens versus Røkkr on this very site and in this very position on the attacking end. See if they can manage to do similar things. Is it Zero striking early? Not just for 1, but also for 2. Half of LAG drop in a matter of seconds. It's 3 kills in 3 seconds, all on to Gunless. And how about London coming out the way that they have? It is aggression in back-to-back rounds, and it appears we've got a round 11 just moments away. Gunless, a tough task, a hard one at that. They'll look to try to leave and vacate Berlin for now, as we've got ourselves some OT, partner.
And I wonder if Gunless, running off the map right there is going to be able to give LAG the defensive round. Because if you were adding up the kills, it was fairly close between both of these teams. But with neither one of his teammates picking up a kill that last round right there, it probably was so impactful that it's like, hey, let's just get off the map. Let's get another defensive round. This time we'll switch it up. But here we go into a round 11. They're actually going to be on the offense, and this is better for them because 33% win rate on the defensive side is not going to be the best case scenario, but it's going to be the bomb going towards this B site. Nasty's going to have a huge part to play here. He can pick up 1.
Brought that in 28 HP. He has to back on up. LAG going back to what worked in the early stages of the game. A more methodical, slow-paced push. But the problem right now for LAG, it is not going to get easy. It's not going to be easy, rather, to cross this street. You're going to have to look more than just both ways before crossing. You have to be aware of the utility that can be tossed over as well. 1 crosses the street. Zero puts in some bullets. Another one tries to cross the street. Zero can't take him down. Nasty tosses out the nade. And Asim's able to escape. He escapes with 12 HP. Alive to be able to plant the bomb. And now it's all going to be on the Ravens to try and retake this. A current 3 versus 4 as Afro falls.
Gunless finds the first. 35 seconds left. You have 2 players from London who are attacking this from low docks, but this setup from LAG cannot be any more perfect. Time is starting to dwindle. Gizmo's in a great position, though, to try to be a playmaker, but Slasher does have the crossfire. Gunless finds 1. Slasher able to take down Gizmo. Now, Nasty, last player up. LAG are able to clutch up in the final round to close it out and now go up 2-0 in this series, and that was such a beautiful play from them. The fact that Asim was able to just finesse his way around that bomb site, 16 health, like you pointed out, Lando. 16 health. The guy lays down and commits towards his plan because he knows there's not a single player of the Ravens that are pushed up towards this B bomb. We get this down. We had the setup that we want. We should be able to close out the round, and that's exactly what they do. Great adjustments coming in from LAG. Like I said from the beginning of this series, man, their game plan is on point.
No, and I couldn't agree more, Zeno. The competition right now, it is unbelievable in the CDL. As the Guerrillas shocking everybody. Like I said, the Ravens, they're coming into this series. They're feeling good. They're trying to be the first team to start things off here in this season with a 4-0 record. And the Guerrillas, off of a big loss in their last series versus the Ultra, they are taking it now to the EU boys. They want some revenge, and so far, they have got exactly that. Some big plays going down in the late moments from the veterans. They walk away with the Gavutu, and they get the job done here on Berlin Search and Destroy. As we said, Jay, LAG, search, destroy. It has not treated them nicely so far. I was looking at my notes to see how many wins they've got. It's one. They've got one search, destroy win. Now they've got themselves two versus one of the best teams in the game. If that does not get you excited, I don't know what will. But folks, it is LAG up 2-0. Are the Guerrillas about to walk away with a victory like this, or can we see the Ravens try and pull off something special? It's not going to be an easy task, but everything is going to be tested when we come back on this next Kuavo Control.
The Call of Duty League is brought to you by Game Fuel. Victory in a can.
We're in a very different position from that we were in 10 weeks ago. We are far stronger than we were 10 weeks ago. We are far better prepared to endure the worst.
You know, I'm going to understand. I've wanted to play this badger for a long time.
Has got the potential to get his revenge on Los Angeles Thieves.
Ireland did just once already. That team ended up winning the first championship in the CDL.
And all the fans and people are seeing what he can do. So as long as he just keeps that pumping, I mean, he's the top player in the game, without a doubt. He's one of the best players in the game.
Making his play. 40 goes on the B zone. This could be massive. Running on over the top right. You can see him is wriggling his way through the spawn there with Mutineers. He's getting through the boys. This is from a C1 nil. Dolphins there and he catches the flanker inside. Oh, there you go. And see exactly what Slasher is doing. He's going away still. Los Angeles Guerrillas. Kendrick's hold it back line. He's out. They got players in every single corner of the map right now, too. London is Afro.
And oh my god, there are just a legion of players here. Peekaboo, I've been here the whole time.
Welcome back back, ladies and gentlemen, to what has already been a very interesting CDL Sunday. It is our final our final day of week 2 here at our Major I Qualifiers. It is the Guerrillas going up right now against the Ravens, and to everybody's surprise, except if you're an LAG fan, they find themselves up 2-0, but with arguably one of the biggest tests for this team still up next. Jay, Control, it's not been great for this team so far, but the one guy who has not seen any of those issues is aBeZy.
Yeah, aBeZy sitting at a 1.23. This is his best game mode when you talk about all three. And on the opposite side, Gizmo at a 1.28. This guy was able to put up insane numbers. 80% non-traded kill percentage.
That's wild.
That's an insane stat, man. Between both of these guys, man, even 74 for aBeZy, both of these guys are really hard to kill in this game mode. But when you're taking a look at how the series has went so far, when you think about this London roster, before the series started, they had all 4 players top 10 in overall KD.
Yeah.
Right now, they have not a single player over 1.0, and every single player on the side of LAG, they're all over a 1.0.
Yeah.
Even one player that's sitting at a 1.0, which is Gunless. That's completely throwing me off, because Gunless is the guy that's usually going insane for this roster. He's basically got his feet kicked up, and they are dominating this series. Great work coming in from LAG so far, but job not done yet.
Yeah, without question, job still not done, but the focus, as it continues to be, is going to be on to aBeZy. I know I called him a seam earlier. We still don't 100% know. You could really go back and forth if you'd like. We'll go with aBeZy. We'll go with aBeZy for now. One thing too, Jay, I know it is Super Bowl Sunday. Thing to keep in mind, Cronky Sports Entertainment, they actually own the LA Guerrillas. They're also, right, owners of the LA Rams. They're going to be the Super Bowl later. Maybe they're embracing some of that fire, some of that spirit. Who exactly knows? Not the greatest way to start off if you're gunless, but at the very least, LAG up 2-0 right now versus the undefeated London Royal Ravens. And so far, Jay, as you called it, it has really been a different game plan for LAG here off the rip.
You see they have an early pressure on this 8 point. If you're LAG, you want to contest this. You're already down 3 lives. You just want to be able to pick up a couple kills, but London right now, they have a lot of positioning on the map. They're able to pick up at least 2 until Gunless is able to find 2 of his own. But Slasher able to take this last player off of that 8 point, not able to complete that second tip aggression. You're going to see a little attack coming in at this B point at 0. He's able to take that one on that side of the map too, so they're pressuring both of these points.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Some great pressure coming in right now. What? Gunless? Okay.
Oh no.
That is not good at all. That is not great. I had no idea how we didn't take him down. Put a few bullets in there with the pistol, try to get the body whack. That didn't work out either. Ravens second tick now gained over at A. Meanwhile, it is going to be a 1v1 over at P1. Luke's able to establish that fight for himself, but how about Gizmo? Again, a guy that we continue to talk about, some of the greatest numbers in Control, holds the #1 KD in Control right now here at Major I. Putting in some good work toward the top side of the boat. Meanwhile, it's his good old SMG duo, good old Barkas, aka Afro, doing the work over at the beach side. A point captured for London, another minute on the clock, and boy, do they have numbers, lives right now in their advantage.
Yeah, man, a minute 45, you're up by 9 kills. This is going to be a difficult task for LAG to try to get done, but aBeZy, he's able to sneak his way in through that ringside. This could cause problems for a couple players on the side of London coming off spawn. He's able to take down Gizmo. Gunless does find 0. So now these last 2 players from the Ravens approaching the back. Nasty's able to take down Hoop. So now they potentially are going to be set up for a back push through green. But look at aBeZy. He's influencing these spawns to allow them to overextend through ship. They should be ready to read this.
And 0 as he goes toward the top gun. aBeZy, great trigger discipline to take down the first, as the Ravens have established themselves quite nicely inside of the base. So this is great work right now from London, as they'll look to try to maybe go for the stack. They're not super confident right now in the setup, as Afro is at least able to take down 1. Again, 16, man, make it 16-4 in lives already for LAG. The pressure continues to get piled on right now from London. Just moments away from what it feels like a round victory, as they're already halfway at B. Lives continue to trickle away, and as Hook will be the last player alive. I mean, that is huge, partner, when we talk about London not just walking away with the opening attack, but if it does go to that round 5, they already have a 15 live advantage.
Yeah, that was dominant from the Ravens to come out in their very first offense and take it in such a dominant fashion that they did. Like you said, 15 kill advantage. They were able to get that 8-point with basically 15 seconds into the round. They were able to extend that time by a minute, already have a 9-live advantage. But then the plays come in where you see 2 players were approaching the backside. They were able to set up the pinch. And then even before that, when Zero was able to pop that 2-piece when he was single-handedly on that B point, he was able to get the first tick of progression, which made the job a lot easier.
Nope, London down 0-2 overall. A great statement round off the rip here in the attacking side. Gonna have to require a lot of communication, some teamwork on this side for them to try to bring back this control and try to bring it back in this series. Let's see how the comms sound. Let's go to a listening with London.
Okay, listen, there's 2 boat, one cliff.
Point outside, right side.
We already done. Take the time it.
No top.
Nice.
I'm trying to copy one.
And then it's somewhere, watch out.
He's got me, Slasher weak. Second.
Second, I don't see him.
Yeah, he was just on the second, bro.
I'm laying over.
George left cross. Nate top right boat with me.
Yeah.
Low boat, Asim.
Nice. Weak top right boat.
Look at the Flash. I need to reload, give me a sec. Boat, gunners.
Willis dead.
This is Slasher still. Nice, Marcus.
Yo, we'll continue right, continue right.
Go left.
One shot there, blow right.
Marcus,
One shot P1,
I naded your cliff, watch out.
P1's open, boys. Stay A to
I'm getting it.
minimum. I can wrap
On me. Yeah, tell me you got it, Joe.
From P4.
Alright, tank. Asim weak.
Alright, tank.
Coming over, Joe. Green tank. I'm going P1.
He's in front of the tower. Front tower, Asim. Front tower got me. He's pushed out back tower straight away.
Yeah, I'm leaving him. I'm flanking the gun B.
I've got P1 now. Give me a sec.
On B, dead.
Oh, no. He's going to cage away.
Yeah, I'm going A. Now I'm pinching it again.
Cage is from broken.
Top broken, one shot. Alright, listen, work together.
Yeah, Slasher's top clip.
Well, only moments still remaining in this round. Possibly LAG just hop on the clock there, hop on the point to stop the clock, rather, at doing some change. Nasty with a big 1v1. He loses that. And finally, the Guerrillas able to see the objective and maybe put themselves with another minute on the clock. We'll see if the Ravens look to try and aggress this. It appears that they will not. They will finally hand that one over to London. But Jay, you told me right there in the listening there with the London Royal Ravens does not sound like a team that's down 0-2 at all.
Yeah, I love listening to those comms right there, because usually when you're down 0-2, especially with how the 2 maps have gone, 6-5, round 11, very down to the wire, hard point, like you would sense that there would be a little bit of frustration. But the Ravens, they're calm, cool, and collected. It's such a young team. They said, hey, we're not out of this. And just based off of the way that they attacked that first round, they're just all about their business. Now, with 35 seconds left, they just have to hold this push from LAG at least once. Shut down this back push right here, and they should be able to close out this round. But LAG, they're far from done in this series. I know that, I mean, the Ravens, they're far from done, because LAG, they're currently up 2-0. If the Ravens can come out and win this map right here, they're going into a Berlin hardpoint where they're really confident at.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Some great plays there from Zero. Nearly turns on to the second. That would have been a nice double kill there on the hook. But as we said, up majorly in terms of lives after that first round, 15 to be exact. LAG, the final push over here at B. They're aware of the lives. They're aware of the situation. A current 3v3. They look to try and aggress things, but London will hold on their own defensive side. Again, the Ravens, you can just tell, man, they just seem a little bit frustrated. I mean, as we called it, they don't seem like a team that's down 0-2. They just seem to be firing. Specifically, that man in the top right, Afro, I don't know what it is, man. You think like with an SMG, you think in a player of his pace, he'd get caught out on Gavutu, but it just is not at all the case for this guy. Drops the opening Gavutu hardpoint, but he is firing right now with this control. Some great plays covered in from this man. Yeah, 21 and 10. 21 and 10.
He's going off, and usually don't see this out of an SMG player who is playing these big maps. He, for some reason, really enjoys Berlin and Gavutu, which are not as small as Tuscan and Bocage. It doesn't really make sense, but this is what allows him to be a playmaker. He's able to sneak his way all the way up the ring. Fortunately, he's going to give up his positioning with those shots here, but should find this kill onto Gunless. Does get traded by aBeZy. And this has so far been a great hold coming from LAG. Last player here is going to be Gizmo. They take him down. Then they're going to be fully set up. They can put Ravens in a trap and potentially get back in this kill column.
Yeah, you can see, right? On the bottom left of your screen over on the mini-map, player 5, player 8, they've got the crossfires set up. One of them does end up getting taken down, that being Slasher, but nonetheless, LAG still looking to apply the pressure. Some nice work there putting in from Hook, as he'll at least gain some intel on where the push looks to be going right now from the other end. But as Afro jumps on it, this could be huge. This could be great right now for the Ravens if they're able to take down this third player. Nice plays from Slasher. He also gets out of dodge. So with 20 seconds left, you're thinking from the Ravens side, they have got to get something done. Not a whole lot of kills have been happening toward either side, but the ones that have been incredibly impactful. At 8.6 seconds, London finally bridge the gap. They finally make their way on to the point. Nasty wins a big 1v1, quickly traded out from Gunless. The clock continues to roll in London. They've got to do something about it. They've got to get somebody on the objective, but Slasher answers back with one of his own. Down to 0. LAG respond back the best way that you'd like them to. They're on the defense.
Yeah, LAG, they wish that they can get their very first defensive round back, man, because it's not easy to win offense on a Gavutsu control. They're able to respond there. Now they just have to go into this attacking round. We saw the pressure that London were able to put on them, not even allowing them, you know, to have a majority of these lives advantage when they get that 8 point. It's not going to be streaks on either side. Your LAG, your main focus has to be getting this 8 point, but Gunless and Slasher on the 2 and 3 speed can potentially pick up some streaks that can open that B point wide open.
Yep. You're a newer fan looking for 7. That's gonna be the magic number, as Slasher is now gonna sit on 4. His AR duo and Gunless does get taken down off of his spree, so now it's all gonna come down to Slasher. In terms of earning these streaks, that could be big for this round specifically, and depending on how that round 5 goes. I know we're talking about lives. Maybe LAG that has to do it in back-to-back attacking grounds as the fight continues to brew over at the ship. Meanwhile, it's 0 making his full-on wrap to the back of the base. LAG pushing forward, but they're going to have to be aware of the flank that currently seems to be going down. Some good coordination as 0 falls. It is overall the Ravens that do get cut down regardless of it. Some solid plays, some solid ideas, but LAG continue to respond. They continue to show off the grit. And this roster has got still brewing halfway now at that A objective.
You can just tell that the communication right now is flowing for LAG. The fact that they read that player on 0, going all the way through that late flank, such a great read to come in from Slasher, which eventually allows him to get fully set up on this 8 point. Asim still causing problems into Green, trying to hit the crazy jump shots with the rat. Unfortunately, the clip doesn't enter the pistol. Not able to pick up that kill, but with Slasher winning that huge one-on-one, should be able to close at this point. He also finds another Slasher having himself a map, trying to close it out in this game number 3.
It takes 3 players from London to take down Slasher. My goodness. You can just tell, as we said, LAG, they've got some confidence that one round. They have just done it for them, as now it's Hook's turn. Nearly turns on to second, but now it's going to set up Asim to possibly go for the trade. The great teamwork up close for London will at least spoil the push off the start from LAG. Minute and 25 on the clock. And what a round it could be for the Guerrillas to send us toward that round number 5, as P1 looks to get cleared out right now from Gizmo.
And look at 0. 0's in a great position to cause problems on the side of LAG. They eventually take care of him. But still a lot of time being wasted. Only a minute left. Slasher trying to do everything that he can. 24 and 19. Pushing directly up the middle of the map. He's actually going to find an opening. 0 does spot him, but Slasher can potentially pick up this kill in the back. 0 should get traded before he takes down Slasher, but he kills him in a bullet. So now you have the Ravens who have ring control. You have a couple players from LAG throughout the backside. Can they set up this French?
Oh, and how about Gunless? How about Gunless? He takes 2 down. Slasher will take 1 down onto Gizmo. They're aware of where that final player is going to be, and now it's time for the stack. It could be time for the stack for the Guerrillas. 2 players on the point, while Gunless looks to watch over the rest of them. Actually, Afro tosses out the nade. That's going to take down Hook. Nobody from LAG currently on the objective, as that one's going to remain vacant. They're going to look for the kills. They look for the kills in this position, and you could not debate them about it. Slasher shuts down Afro with the nade, and now it's 0 from the top. It's Nasty from the other side. A current 4v8. Asim gets dropped through the tank. 4v7. And with 25 seconds left, it could come down to player 5. Take a look at Hook.
Hook's able to make his way to the back. Afro's not going to spot him, so he should be able to pick up this kill with ease. But Afro, great shots, able to take down Hook. Now 15 seconds remaining. LAG, they need to try to put it on him. But London, they are holding. They're able to find all 4 kills, and London should be able to close it out here.
It looks good. It looks good for Hook. Can it get to the point in time? No, he gets wiped away, and the Ravens How about the comeback? That round 4 had LAG's name written all over it. They could feel the overtime. They could feel the round 5 being pushed. But that one kill, Jay, from Afro, that to me at least turned the tide. His ability to turn around there toward the back red tower, that kill in particular spoils the push for the Guerrillas. It spoils the flank. And just like that, the Ravens are now back in this series.
Oh man, and if you're Hook, you didn't have a good map, but that one kill would have at least forced it to go to that round 11. Now you're going into a map 4 at London. They love to play this map. Both of these teams actually really enjoy playing Berlin Hardpoint. So it's going to be an all-out battle between both of these rosters on that map. But that one's got to stink for LAG. You let go of the early defensive round, get outslayed by 15 kills. Basically, is not going to be successful even if you get in towards the later rounds, because if London were able to secure the defensive attack, then that would have been, you know, basically wraps right there. Put the bow on it. But now that London are able to stay alive in this series, LAG are going to have a little bit more pressure on their back. They're great at rotating. We saw it on that map number 1, but this is where London, they're able to use that ability of breaking hard points. They're number 1 in the league currently. This is where they can take advantage and force that game 5.
Yeah, and if we're talking about, you know, stereotypes or at least what's typical for both of these teams, I mean, that felt like a typical map. Not just for the Ravens, but for LAG as well, right? We talked about the constant struggles that the Guerrillas have faced. They've lost all 3 control games so far throughout our stage 1 major qualifier. All of them have been in round 5. Granted, this one ends in 4. But the primary talking point, Jay, around LAG has been Hook's performance. Sits at like a 0.77 KD in control. Obviously, nearly goes double negative in this particular control as well. I know we talked about the Guerrillas, a different game plan, but when it comes down to the control, not at all the same story. And I don't know, where does the concern level now get granted if you are the LA Guerrillas? Obviously, they're great in the first 2 maps. They're able to rebound in the close situations, but a control loss there. We're now getting ready to see another respawn specifically on Berlin, where you talked about it. Ravens excellent versus Minnesota yesterday, despite not rotating. How do you feel about that same game plan strategy from the Guerrillas, considering that map looked a lot more like them so far throughout the Major I qualifiers?
This one kind of scares me because LAG, just based on the Maximos that we have, this is where they need to be able to close out this series. They need to be able to close it out in 4, because if they get to that Bocage S&D, which is that game number 5, I mean, the Ravens, they only have 1 rep on it, and it was a 6-5 all the way versus OpTic. There's so much that you can take away from that. But on the opposite side for LAG, they have yet to play it. So it's kind of worrying now, because your game plan worked out flawlessly. You come out, you take the map number 1, you take the search and destroy. You put yourself in a great position to take that map number 3, but when you're losing the very first defensive round by 15 kills, to try to fight back into that, even with them possibly closing out that last round, if who picks up that kill, you still would have been on the all-offensive attack. Probably still ends up at this map 4.
Yeah, it does.
They just have to make sure that they're slaying and holding down their hard points. The money hills are going to be the P3s, because P4, you're not really going to get a chunk of time. But the P3s, when you're early set up, you have to make sure you get there. If you're spawning towards top P1 on top plat side, that means you're initially getting to that hard point first. You're going to be able to start off with at least a good 10 to 15 uncontested. If the kills are going in your favor, just think about the rotation, because the Ravens, they're not thinking about it. They're just thinking about, hey, we're going to head bash the hill, we're going to win our gunfights, and we're going to break it, make it look easy.
Yeah, you can tell, like, this London Royal Ravens team, obviously off the interviews that we've seen from them as well, they just are a confident bunch without question. And now coming in to this next hard point, we're talking about a few top performers so far throughout the season. It's obviously going to be Slasher from the opposite side. We've talked about Asen, we've talked about Gunless. Now it's time for the vet, Austin Liticote, a 1.10 KD so far here in a hard point throughout our Major I qualifiers. And again, we continue to talk about the man, the legend that is Gizmo, a 1.15 KD in hard point for him. And I know, Jay, we talked about a number of different things, right? Players to look out for, things to keep in mind. Gizmo, without a doubt, is going to be one of those players that you are keeping in mind. But right, it has to be this idea. Again, it's all about the rotations. Like I said, versus Minnesota yesterday, I forget who tweeted it out, and my apologies for that, but I know the desk touched on it. I know aLLeY specifically was mentioning it. Minnesota won 9 out of the 9 rotations and still lost 250 to like 138. That was still not enough. Now coming into this next Berlin, we can talk about players all we want, but specifically being in the position, if you are LAG, I mean, from your perspective, I know it's kind of hard to call. How do you hold off a team that is not rotating, still yet seeing so much success from their slang side?
You just have to make sure that your setups are exactly what you need them to be. When no one is dying out the rotation, that's the perfect way to start into a hard point. When you have the crossfire set up, even if trades are going down back and forth, as long as you're winning a majority of those gunfights towards the backside, towards the spots that are going to influence the spawns, that is where they need to put their main focus point on. But here we go into this map number 4. We're going to have the Ravens actually spawning on top plat side. So it's going to force aLLeY to try to break in from bottom train. Nasty able to find the first aBeZy with the nade, but so far early 10 to 15 seconds going in favor of the Ravens.
Yeah, and not only did we talk about the Ravens liking Berlin, seeing a lot of success, especially yesterday versus the Røkkr in the midst of really not a ton of rotation fight victories for them. Also, aLLeY, they have liked Berlin a decent amount as well. So far 2-0 here at our Major I qualifiers on this map. A team that struggled mightily on this map over at the Kickoff Classic. They turned things around mightily coming into online play. And that was one of our keys to victory. Both these teams in favor of this map, and we'll see if aLLeY can continue to make the adjustments as the first hill done and dusted. Nice little 10+ point advantage for aLLeY off the start, but now it's all about the rotations at Library.
Nasty does find the first kill, but Gunless and Hook, they're able to find 2 of their own. Trades going back and forth at this point. aBeZy wins a huge one-on-one, so now the spawns are going to be flipped. This is the best case scenario right now if you're aLLeY. You can find a couple kills here, hold on this tam, and keep the spawns. Oh! Unfortunately, aBeZy is going to meet the 2-piece of Nasty, and that's going to be London able to break in from the backside. 40 seconds left. aLLeY, if you're here, you just want to contest this lead once or twice, but make sure you think about those spawns as number 3 in Gizmo is already thinking big picture.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Nasty
they traded
mashing toward the bottom side. And yeah, we actually do see a trade. Interesting spot there toward the street. So a few interesting kills going down inside of Library. Meanwhile, on the outside of this bad boy objective, it's some interesting fights now going the way of what could have been aBeZy. How about that shot coming in from Afro and Zero as they will lock up spawns for next? I mean, one of our money hills, the fact that it comes down to a little 1v1 in which that aLLeY player just nearly gets around the corner, it's got to be big. But the Guerrillas hot on the attack already. They are already going to be inside of bottom fire. Winning a few of these fights, that's going to be a 3-for-1 trade in their favor. Now it's up to Zero to try and go big. One of the players spawns out, and because of that, Guerrillas rush on in, and now they have got early time at one of the best hard points here on Berlin.
Such a beautiful break coming in from aLLeY. It all starts with Gunless finding that opening kill from the front side, and then they were able to put 3 players in towards fire, win those gunfights, block the back spawn, and eventually take control. Now with about 30 seconds left, this has just been great work from aBeZy. Look at this guy, 25 seconds. He's off the rotation. This is going to completely throw the Ravens off guard, even though they do find 3 in towards the old hill. With aBeZy in this position, he's going to allow his teammates to spawn back alley, which should make it a lot easier off the rotation.
And you can see, right, the Ravens, their arrows, Jay, they were looking specifically at the top left of our map. They were like waiting. They're ready to set them up in a spawn trap. Little did they know, aBeZy already toward the other side as they will spawn, like you said, toward that back alley position. Now it's actually gonna be up to Zero. He actually gets dropped there from Slasher. Great work coming through from the vet. The automaton in his hands. He takes down Zero in what could have been a great spot for the Ravens to try and set up a pinch. How about the utility tossed early? Hook now to the backside of P2, a common angle for where the opposition can come from, but that is anything but common. Some great shots coming through. They're out of Hook, as that's going to be 4 down in the feed for London. Spawns fully aware if you are the aLLeY side, up by 50 points, and that lead only looks to get extended as Gizmo's at least able to find 1 in train, and now the potential break from London.
aLLeY have been holding this hard point down to the T. You usually do not see a lot of successful holds on P4, but when you're shutting down every single wave of kills on the side of the Ravens, it's going to be super easy. They're able to put themselves up by 70 points now. Still with 5 seconds remaining on this hard point, they're just thinking so far ahead of the game right now. Catching the Ravens late on rotation is the reason why they're able to blow this lead wide open. But now it comes down to this P5 hard point. aLLeY, if you are them, you just cannot allow the Ravens to get back into this game with a good chunk of time here.
And how about Slasher, by the way? Starting things off at 17-7. Obviously highlighted for a great KD so far in hardpoint throughout the Major I qualifiers, but he's playing great. Now it's 17-8 as he gets taken down. The primary reason why aLLeY find themselves with a sizable advantage with just 1 more hill remaining on our first set of rotations. Nasty trying to clear things out through middle. He'll be successful in that venture, but when we talk about P5 on Berlin, it can be some scrappy seconds. London keeping in mind the score, keeping in mind everything. They're trying to hunt for every single second that they can get. Nasty now sitting on Fort, trying to turn his game around. That's now going to be 5 for him. 2 more for Streaks. And that could be big for the Ravens as they are down majorly, 70 points. As we will refresh rotation, start things back off at P1. Now make it 6 in a row for Nasty. Byron Plumridge.
Yeah, the guy's going crazy right now. If he can pick up these streaks, this could be huge. Going into that P3 or even P4 hardpoint. You don't want to use it when it comes to that P2, but now down 60 points. You see the full wrap coming in from Gunless, able to take that player out from fire. So now they have the man advantage on the break. LAG, they're gonna pinch. They're gonna be able to win a majority of these gunfights, and with 35 seconds left, they're able to break in. This has been such a textbook hardpoint coming in from the vets, making a statement here.
Absolutely making a statement, as that's now going to be aBeZy sitting on 3 in a row. Ravens, you could feel the sense of urgency is Nasty again able to take down 2, and we'll see if that makes enough of a dent. The SMGs continue to slay. They continue to be aware, but it's Gunless who wins the fight, and they will walk away with the final 10 seconds of scrap points. London, off the rip, are going to be in control of our next hill, and boy, do they need a full 60 here. And now aBeZy again with the early kills off of these spawns. 16 and 10. Can he find another one? He slides right into the fight, shutting down Gizmo. The rest of his teammates will now join alongside of him. aBeZy now with 3, breaking these hills by himself. The teammates have provided the support, but without this man leading the ship, guiding the helm, it would not be successful, as that's now going to be 4 in a row. Slaying still going down, but aBeZy now on a 5 spree. Moments away from streaks, and you feel like it's just a matter of time. You feel like it's a matter of time. He's hunting this one down. He wants the streaks. He'll take down 0 for the 6, but can it be the 7? Is it time for the glide bomb? He runs out of ammo. Gunless takes him down. And my word, LAG, aBeZy specifically, on a heater. The Ravens finally get a moment to breathe as Afro tries to make a play for spawns at fire.
And now, see the Ravens, they had to try to break these spawns. You cannot allow LAG to set up, but Slasher and aBeZy are able to find 2. So now if you're Nasty, just to play your life in fire. You're the player that's going to open this wide open as you have a couple players trying to set up for the pinch from the front side. Gizmo able to find 2 on the street. Gunless does find 1 in the front, but a majority of these trades going in favor of the Ravens. Spawns are still going to be here for LAG. If they can pick up a couple of these kills and try to potentially break out of this, this is the best case scenario. The pitch is going to be here. aBeZy with the pistol able to take down 1. Trades are going to be here by Hook. Last player is going to be 0. He gets traded, and once again, LAG, they keep control of the spawns. They keep control of the point, and with 25 seconds left, if they can hold the remaining of this time, they should be able to break that 200-point mark.
Yeah, Jay, I mean, like I said, this is series-defining time right now.
Yes.
This is big seconds right now from London as they make the break in a situation where they absolutely have to. But now it's time for the rotation, and we're going across the map. But how about the veteran-like plays from aBeZy sitting in the street? An uncommon angle nearly gets met with some shots from Afro, as 0 will at the least be able to pick him up. Also takes down Hook as well. So some progress being made toward the top side of your map from 0. Specifically, the Ravens doing what they can to try to break through the backside of the spawns. It's still aBeZy and Slasher winning the fights toward the front, but as 0 now makes somewhat of a dent toward the back, it is still going to be a headbutt right now at the train station. Ravens right now with numbers as they'll push in 3 strong. Gizmo, Nasty actually ends up taking down his own teammate, so that will weaken the forces overall. LAG now with the time. Back and forth we go.
Wow.
But because of that team kill, it will be punishment once more. Guerrillas inside of the time.
220 and climbing. LAG are finding every single kill in the feed. They push out the spawns. Now they flip them to now spawn all of Ravens towards that back warehouse and said, hey, you want this 14? We're not going to give you this 14, as aBeZy is hitting shots like that. 29 and 14. We asked for the guy to have an answer after the series that he had last week, and he has so far answered the call. 141 to 228. Now it's time to set up for this P5 hardpoint, and they're already here as Hook does find another 2 in the feed.
Hook looking for a spree of his own. Oh my goodness, the quickest of reactions. Never stood a chance. Nasty will never be the same. 145 to 236. London, what can they do? What can they do when the Guerrillas are playing at a level like this? Gunless trying to apply some pressure from the back, and London sweat off the brow situation, a moment to breathe, a moment to try and compose themselves. But right as they do that, of course, it's Slasher, it's Hook, it's a 3-for-1 trade once more from the Guerrillas. One more player to deal with. We say goodnight to Gizmo, and we could say goodbye to this series. We could say goodbye to the winning streak from the London Royal Ravens. Zero tries to challenge. It's all on to Afro, the 1v1. It's going to be granted from LAG, and say goodnight to your pick'ems. Say goodbye to the win streak of London. LAG come out on this CDL Sunday and shock the world. A 3-1 victory, a series that we said was necessary for that Major I tournament. And my goodness, what a performance and what a turnaround that they have. Lose versus the Ultra in a 3-0 just days ago. They come in now versus the other EU side, one of the best teams in the game, and they beat them in 4.
That's unbelievable. It's unbelievable out of LAG, a team full of vets who are just coming off of such a tough loss versus the Ultra. They got 3-0, like the maps weren't even close. The fact that they came in with such a great game plan today to not only win in the vetoes and win in the maps and modes, like just to win in the bans, everything was going in their favor, man. They came out off the rip with that Gavutsu hardpoint. They have yet to play that as a team, but they know that the Ravens' weakness has to be on the rotation. They're always late. They're always relying on breaking on into the hill when they're not there off the rip. And then when they get to the search and destroy, that was the biggest adjustment for me, because the Ravens, they looked great on this map yesterday. They were able to win it 6-2 versus Minnesota, but what LAG were able to do so well was when they got that first blood, they were immediately had the game plan where they wanted it to be. They were not hesitant on the rotations, not hesitant on their play calls. And when you have a bomb planner who's willing to risk his life the way aBeZy did that round 11 to give his team the advantage and close it out, huge plays from them. I know they let the controls slip, but the fact that they came out in this map number 4 versus a team like the Ravens who really enjoyed this one, win a majority of those rotations and just dominate this game from start to finish, LAG have made a complete turnaround from when we saw them from Toronto.
And the best thing, right, about this WJ for the Guerrillas is not only will they have the chance of having that winning record coming into Major I, but this is what we thought this team could be. When we came into the season, there was a lot of people talking about how this team, they could crumble early, but there is no doubt the potential that this roster has. And they just seem to be doing exactly what the analysts, what you have said, what aLLeY has said, what Nameless have said. They have been doing, at least in this series, what we thought that they had the potential to do, to come in and to be one of those rosters that can come through and upset some top caliber teams. That winning streak no longer intact from the London Royal Ravens, as aBeZy and the crew from LAG walking away with the big dub. Desk, my goodness, what a way to kick off CDL Sunday. We thought that we've had some crazy matchups so far. How about this upset, Bell?
No, that was really nice, man. Do we even call it an upset, man? Take a look at the team over there. The boys from LA were beating on their chest, and they got a really big win out of that, making a statement. And Nameless, looking at this roster, you said last time we were on screen, actually, you looked at aLLeY now, you said, this team is going to be nasty, right?
He did.
Now look at them, beating the London Royal Ravens team that was looking like one of the best in the CDL.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-0 headed into this. They were unbelievable on hardpoint. Search and Destroy was looking good. Like, they were looking good everywhere, and everybody individually was playing well. Well, what happened today? They ran into an LAG team that has hardpoint down pat. These guys are now 6-1 in hardpoint. But you know what the biggest difference was today, aLLeY? Was the Search and Destroy. LAG have fixed so much in Search and Destroy. They clearly did their VOD review. Like, they were hard countering London in a lot of those rounds. Now, it did come down to the wire, but you saw that play that they made at the very end of Search and Destroy. They knew exactly how they wanted to execute that. Everybody played perfect on LAG throughout that search.
Right, and speaking about Search and Destroy, I mean, aLLeY, you were so impressed with what we saw.
No, absolutely. LAG, that was the game mode they needed to fix. In hardpoint, they had the slaying power. They were struggling a bit on rotations, but they were still winning. But it was Search and Destroy where they really kept getting knocked down by these top teams, and to come out against London Royal Ravens, who have been looking so good in Search and Destroy, it was a lot off of Slasher's first bloods. At least for me, I felt like the second Slasher beamed somebody across map on Berlin. That was it. All of LAG got the green light to fly forward. They were catching London off guard. They were playing aggressive, and it was a great overall showing coming out of them.
Yes, and speaking about LAG, let's go ahead and jump into a Game Fuel post-victory spotlight interview with none other than the team who has been tearing it up since that New York game. My man, how you feeling right now? Congratulations on the big win, but I have an honest, real big question for you. Now, as your team is starting to, rile up some momentum with these wins, what is something that you guys have gotten better with to really lead you to this point? Because the chemistry seems better and the energy with the team just seems a lot better as well.
Yeah, like I said in my previous interview, I just think we all are super experienced and we know what we're doing. We just got to make sure that we stick to the same page and make sure we're accomplishing what we do in practice. And if we can do that, it'll be super clean. Now I think the next step is just to focus on control, and we should be a top contender in no time.
Absolutely, I completely agree. I feel like you all proved that with this series. Asim, I gotta ask you, man, you seem so much more consistent and so much more comfortable on the map this year. I mean, you have been dropping straight bombs, going on streaks, and whenever your team is down and out, you're kind of the guy keeping everybody in there. Are you kind of being a shot caller for this team right now?
Yeah, a little. I think over the years, I finally got to learn what I need a shot call, and sometimes it works like a charm, and sometimes it doesn't. But for the most part, right now, I just have full confidence in my team, and they're letting me do whatever I want, and I'm just learning every step of the way, and it's working. So I'm just gonna stick to it.
Hey, so I got a question for you. Actually, a two-part question. So first things first, what separates you guys so much in hardpoint from the majority of the teams that we have in the CDL? Because you guys are 6-1, seemingly been dominant throughout the start, of the league. And then also, what have you done individually to step up? Because to me, you've had like the biggest or the quickest turnaround from week 1 to week 2.
Honestly, and I feel like this year more so than every year, I've been grasping more of like a textbook type of Call of Duty and hardpoint, and I feel like with Gunless and Slasher, they don't make any rotational mistakes. So I think all in all, it feels like we are the most structured team in hardpoint. So I feel like that's why we're finding so much success in it. And to be honest, we should be undefeated, but that's here nor there.
Hey, love that.
All right, well, you know what? You could go undefeated from this point on into at least the next major, right? And hopefully you guys are able to do that. Thank you so much for putting on a great show today, man. That 1.32 was phenomenal on our screens. Enjoy the big game, and I hope you have a great day.
Appreciate it, guys. Rams house, let's go.
Take it easy, bro.
Well, since I'm in Ohio, I think I'm going to go for the Bengals. We'll talk about that next time, though. But, aLLeY, so far, today has been great. London Royal Ravens copped a big L in a big way as well. But the team, they still look good. It's no time to panic, right?
Yeah, they still look good. For me, a lot of that series was London making a bit of some blunders for me. We talk about them needing to work on rotation. I know I said if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, now it's kind of broke. So I think they need to start working on those rotations, because that's really the nail in the coffin when it came to this LAG series.
Yes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have one more game on the day. The Florida Mutineers will be facing off against the Toronto Ultra. Now, Florida, from what we saw yesterday, I'm pretty sure they're all pretty upset, and they really want to make a statement with this one. But Toronto Ultra, they want to continuously prove that they're one of the best teams that ever graced the CDL. We'll see you guys on the other side of the break to continue with some more CDL action.
Juicy League is brought to you by Zenny Gaming. Armor your eyes with Block's gaming glasses starting at $24 by visiting zenny.com/CDL.
Haters talking to me, tell them pipe down. Or it's lights out, zeros on the debit, baby, all I do is swipe now. Gucci sweater 5,000, stunning, buzzing. I be going up, no ceiling. Wow, ballin', running, getting to the paper, I'm peeling out. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. They gon' know me as legendary. You in the stands, I ain't need no commentary. Ain't no option, ain't no secondary. I just throw it out like a Hail Mary.
All right, welcome back to the CDL. And to close out the second week of what's been going on this year, we're gonna have a banger of a matchup between the Toronto Ultra and the Florida Mutineers. And breaking it all down will be me, the desk host Velly, aLLeY, and also Nameless. And in this matchup right here, it's gonna be really interesting, Nameless, because there is a sub in play for Toronto Ultra.
Yeah, they got Hixie playing, and we're gonna see how he plugs in for Cammy. Plugging in for Cammy those are tough shoes to fill. Like Cammy, I thought at times was the best player in the game last year. Like the guy could pop off, so Hixie's got to come in, play that flex role, and really just fit into the system. I think they'll be okay though.
Right, and aLLeY with Hixie coming in, and you know him from Challenger League as well. I mean, this guy, he's a beast.
No, he is really nasty coming up from the EU scene. And again, in Vanguard, his placings have been about top 6 thus far. But again, we had Cap come in, his average placing, it was like T23, 0.7. So I 100% expect Hixie to come in out hot.
Now, let's talk about it and let's break it down. When it comes to Toronto and the game field keys of victory, Nameless, overall, what do you expect from this team?
I expect this team to be fantastic. You can see the smile on Hixie right now. He's really excited to get in and get going for the squad. But for the game field keys to victory, continue to showcase elite setups in hardpoint. They're first in hold percentage. That's just a testament to the teamwork that this team has. Take control in the control. Second in round win percentage, Florida is last. So, you know, this is probably a team with the best teamwork versus one of the teams with the worst teamwork that relies on a lot of individual plays.
Yeah.
It's not to say Florida can't get better. It's just where they're at right now. And then Insight has to get back to normal ways in search and destroy. 0.89 KD this season, 1.24 in Cold War. Sort of the backbone for this team. A lot of times when somebody was left in a clutch situation, it was Insight. And more often times than not, you can count on him to win that round. I think he's just learning, getting more comfortable right now, and he'll get there. But if they want to be dominant at search, he's got to get there soon.
Definitely. Seeing that man bounce on the screen every single time. Look at him, man. Good vibes. These guys are ready for a big dub. And yes, in order to win this game, they're going to have to go against a team, like you said, they have a lot of individual prowess, right? Like, okay, Vivid having, 85 engagements. aLLeY, when it comes to this team, they're going to have to bring that and more in order to beat Toronto.
That and more. Like we said, it was an incredibly high engagement game, but they still didn't win it. So when you have to talk about that situation is where's the decision making? Because those kills are coming through, but clearly they aren't making much of an impact on the map itself. So I'm wondering who's kind of being the play caller when it comes to this Florida team, because they showed a lot of promise in Kickoff Classic, a little bit in week 1, but then they went up against LA Thieves and kind of got slammed. So when it comes to the game fuel keys to victory, Vivid needs to turn those kills at hardpoint, those engagements, over into control as well. He has a 0.8 KD, so if he could step it up for his squad in the slaying department, maybe it could go a little bit more their way. And they need to focus on knocking down hills and hardpoint. They're 10th in hold percentage, so they might be getting that early rotation, but they are losing all the gunfights following that. And of course, make your life easier in S&D. They're 11th in first blood win percentage and 4th in round win percentage. So you know what? They've been winning rounds, even went down a man. So imagine how much of a turnaround that would be if they end up getting those first bloods first.
Wow, and take a look at the stats. I mean, that's really interesting because even though they're 10th and 11th in a lot of categories, the thing is, the games that they're losing are extremely winnable. They're almost there. And with that being said, for the last game of the day, let's talk about it. Nameless, when it comes to predictions, man, Florida, they held their own yesterday. They looked really good, and they're going against Toronto Ultra, who's definitely looked human so far this season. Who do you have winning this matchup?
I'm going to go Toronto Ultra. I think they're going to take it 3-1. I can't go against that team.
He definitely can. aLLeY, who do you have winning this game? Are you going with the boys in Florida or Toronto Ultra, who's been looking